Okie dokes. So we are back. We are back again. Thursday afternoon settings. And sun is shining. And rain has gone away, thankfully. And I am feeling rather fine. Rather fine. I did say that yesterday I would have done a stream after work, but let's just be honest, right? When I said that there isn't so much a schedule, this is kind of the thing that I meant, right? This is kind of the thing that I meant with there just like, no, if I really don't feel like the stream, I don't do the stream sort of a thing. But I mean, I did say that I would do a stream yesterday after work, and it was one of those things where I came home, I was like, oh yeah, I got to do a stream tonight as well. But it just absolutely was shattered to the core. It's just what. So on the basic consensus of things, if you get COVID, I just recommend just don't get COVID. For God's sakes, just do not get COVID. Right? You get COVID, you're done for. You're finished. You're absolutely finished. Just thrown in the ditch and curl up into a ball. Try not to cry, but cry endlessly. So yeah, I'm still having to recover from the whole COVID thing. So shifts at work right now do take a hell of a lot more out of me than they usually would. And I've still got some nasty cough that seems to come and go, and by nasty I mean it actually just like it really stops me on my feet for a very brief while. But yeah, anyways, we're back again. We are live on one of the days that I said I would be live. And what is there to talk about? What's new? What's updated? A couple of things have happened, or have been reported or spoken about since Tuesday. And another thing, right? If anyone had been paying attention, you probably might have seen as well that I named my Tuesday stream a Monday stream. I was considering it just covering it up and saying that it was a pre-recorded thing, but then I was just like, no. Take no shame in it, right? Just so out of whack. It's so out of whack, I just forget what day it is. And I'll just say, well, look, it's a Wednesday, but I call it a Saturday stream and just call it pre-recorded. But yes, a couple of things that have happened, in stories that have been reported. A couple things. One good place, I think, be a good place to start. Let's start with the Red Bull Leipzig. Yes, I got the right Red Bull club. There's too many Red Bull clubs these days. Just one club is enough. Or just one club. But yes, RB Leipzig's RB, their right back, Nordi Mukiel, is linked with a move to Manchester United as it stands. Right, there's been a price thrown around, supposedly that the Red Bull club is not too keen on continuing in retaining or attaining one's services at the club, so they'll be open to offers to clubs whom are interested. Manchester United are obviously one of them, and supposedly, right, PSG are also interested in a move. Why wouldn't they be? Might be a bit harder of a deal for them to do, or convincing a player, perhaps, with their current right back situation with Hakimi. It's kind of difficult these days to displace a player that's franchised like Hakimi is. But Nordi Mukiele, so 24 years of age, and mixed reception, I think. Mixed reception, supposedly, right? The reports say that we've made initial contact over the transfer of Nordi Mukiele. I'm hoping I'm saying his name right, by the way. It looks like one of those that you say it once and you think that must be how it's pronounced, but then it's not. But yes, mixed reception. He's got he's quite a low valuation for a player, and I think with our situation, with a lot of positions that need new signings, that need players to come in to sort of clear out the bad apples in the squad, right? If we're talking about prices for players that we want to acquire to this summer, in key positions, you'll probably be looking at sort of about 30, 40, and putting a cap really on the £50 million price point. The fact is that a price that's been thrown around is apparently sort of 10 million pounds upwards, about upwards into 15, 20 million. His transfer market value supposedly about 22.5 million pounds, right, as a transfer market value, but he's I think his contract situation is that he is sort of coming towards the end of his contract into sort of a lower value regions of that contract, so he is very much, or Leipzig is very much prone to getting all sorts of low fee offers for someone that's nearing the end of his contract. They might consider extending the contract, but word on the street is that he's supposedly, they're happy for him to go. They would be happy for him to go as long as a fair deal comes in for him. Leipzig take the money and run. Whether they pull a fast one on that, or maybe Man United pull a fast one on that. There's no concrete talks as of yet. It's interest. It's at the phase of just an interest, right? Some people are not really convinced by his abilities in terms of being a top-notch right back. I don't think he's been terrible with Leipzig. I've seen a performance or two of his before. He's not terrible. He's not bad. I think I would say, let's take when Wan-Bissaka came to United, right? In terms of how he was rated, right? How people regarded him. I think Wan-Bissaka, given how highly rated he was touted as this, this next big thing for English right backs, that he would be the guy to displace Trent Alexander-Arnold from that England's number one position. There's also this thing with the Trent and Kyle Walker going on, but I think there's one thing that was very obvious at the time when we got Wan-Bissaka, is that England's right backs, we're not short of English right backs that are at a very good level, right? We're not short of them. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, it's just the fact he's fallen off. He's literally fallen off the face of a cliff, and it's like, for what he's displayed thus far, and what he looks as though he's going to be going on to doing, as in terms of what he has to offer to this squad, the fact that Manchester United are in the same situation, I think let's say it's the same situation, right? Manchester United's stance on Aaron Wan-Bissaka as Red Bull Leipzig's stance on Mukiele is, except the contract situation is not sort of running out on Wan-Bissaka's part. He's still got several years left, supposedly, so I think a couple of years or something like that. I think it's a couple of years left. I might have that completely wrong, but so similar stances between the two clubs, right? We're open to offers for Wan-Bissaka. I would probably look at about 20 million, 30 million as an average valuation there for Wan-Bissaka. He's still relatively young. I think a good club could take him in and get a good, get really good performances out of him. I think it's just the case that the whole idea that we've not really had some in-depth man-to-man specialised coaching for so long, it's hurt a lot of players in their developments, in their growths, into filling in positions, into their performances for not just club but also country. I think the coaching for their countries has been a lot better than this club respectively. So henceforth you see a lot of players getting good performances and seeing some of the best results with those players coming for their national teams. The fact that we've not had coaching or proper coaching for so long, having it hurting the development of a lot of these players means, I think these guys probably would be better for them to seek, redemptions to their careers, seeking it in other clubs. I think that's probably the best all-round package deal as such, I think, for individuals, for players as the individuals. I think it will take for quite a few of these guys to jump ship, to change clubs. I've done this again. I've actually done it again. I've just seen the fucking title. I've done it again. I'm so out of whack. Yeah. So unbelievably out of whack. This is actually incredible. I've said it's Thursday. It's not. It's not Thursday. For God's sake, it is Friday. It's Friday. It's actually Friday. It's because I've been thinking a lot about Thursday and not having done the stream yesterday. Because I've got Thursday in my brain, I think it's Thursday now. And for some reason, it feels like it's a Thursday. It feels to me like it's a Thursday. But anywho. Now, I suppose this thing in terms of the subject regarding the Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Mukiele thing, right? I think if there's one question, if we want to talk about risk this, risk that, risky this, risky that, I think given the fact that we're in times that, disregard risks, the risk factor, what might work, what might not work, think about the idea of needing to deal in certainties, right? What do we know for certain? Is this player an improvement on what we currently have? Yes or no? If it's a yes, it would be an improvement. You're dealing in certainties. You're signing someone, you get in the mid, you're improving what you have because you've dealt with it in a certainty. It's not a case of the potential risk factor to it. Maybe he comes to this club, maybe he flops, maybe he doesn't. It's like there's so many signings out there, right? And I think for Manchester United fans, given again the trust factor in their clubs, their faith in the club is so tarnished. The trust really is gone for a lot of fans, given that even though we're starting something that looks fresh, sounds fresh, and by the looks of it, it looks as though it's going to deliver different results than what we've had for the past several years. I do think it will deliver different results in the transfer window, whether we get to the end of the summer transfer window after deadline day and look back and say, well, that really was an improvement, or maybe you sit there and you say, well, I don't really see how anything's changed. Maybe the identity of player might be different. The identity of player could be different, but then you sit there and say, well, but we've not recruited either key areas, but the areas we have recruited in, we've recruited well for those positions. Maybe we have questions like that. The thing is, we won't know until that day comes. And that's the thing. Again, it's reference to, risk this, risk that. Don't question about risks. Deal with the certainties. And I think if we start with dealing in certainties, I think we'll be fine for the first, in the immediate future, right? We'll be okay. I think it's long terms that you want to start, you know, talking about whether you're getting your club to a good level. Is the decisions you now make going to stir the club to go up in its potential, in its progression, or are you stunting its growth? Which way is it that you're going to see the club's trajectory direct itself? But yes, Nordi Mukiele as a young right back. I think he's actually the same age as Aaron. Might be slightly older. I think if there's anything to go by with this, would I be happier with Mukiele as a right back for us at Manchester United to replacing Aaron Wan-Bissaka if we were to sell him on? To be honest, I think Wan-Bissaka is just looked way more disinterested. He hasn't really had good performances, so I think for us it's the case that if you want to talk risks, then I'll give you this term and say, let's bite the bullet with it. Let's bite the bullet. It's very cheap. You sell Wan-Bissaka in the process, and you get some money back for him, and you probably, to be fair, get more money back for Wan-Bissaka than you actually do spending on Mukiele. So actually, you profit. I think you would profit. You would profit. So anyways, that is supposedly Mukiele at just the talking stages, right? It's just the interests. No concrete evidence that there are official talks going on. Quick notion to a little story that I've just seen up here because I've got my Twitter feed open. God bless Twitter. And the amazing, brilliant people on here. Supposedly Brighton interested in Tuanzebe. So again, at a stage of interest, supposedly. This is being posted by the United Stand, right, and they've sourced it as Footy Insider 247. Let's have a look. Oh damn! Straight away, just right up in my face. Sam Johnston completing a move to Crystal Palace after leaving West Brom. A good goal, I think stable goalkeeper for them, so I can't really say that would be a bad transfer for them. I'm going to get on to something else that I'd just like to address real quick, just on the basis of being a general football fan, right? Brighton, so this is basically their report, right? Brighton set the sights on signing Man United defender Axel Tuanzebe this summer. In the market for a centre-back, are confident there is a deal to be done for the versatile defender. Again, I think because this is this constant hope that Tuanzebe comes back to this club after loan spells, and that he'll be ready, and so I know there's a lot of people talking about Eric Ten Hag, or he will get the best out of Tuanzebe. To be honest, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't think that Tuanzebe or Tuanzebe's best days are going to be at Manchester United. I think he needs to go to a club that is around Tuanzebe's level, right, where his versatility is, he goes to a club with a good manager who plays good football. I think, and I'm not talking about sending him to a big club like a Bayern or like a Liverpool or something stupid like that. I think Brighton would be a very ideal place for Tuanzebe to go. It's the right sort of level for a club of that sort of aspiration, right? Maybe it's just the case we owe them for the Europa League spot that they gave us. Maybe it's that. Maybe it really is just a thing of just like, well, thanks for your service to us. You can have one of our failed centre backs, right? And in all fairness, right, Tonzebe, as it stands, has been a bit of a failure centre back for us. He's been an academy prospect, so for us, at least in our case, for Axel Tonzebe, we're not having to worry about, we selling him for more money than we've signed him for because he came through the academy. It's profit nonetheless. So again, it adds to transfer budgets. It does add to the transfer budget, and the thing is it depends really how good negotiation for Manchester United's part is. Do they negotiate good deals for him? Do they negotiate a good fee? Can they squeeze a couple of extra million out of Brighton to convince them that yes, sign Tuanzebe, be a great addition to your squad, very versatile defender, and quite a long future ahead of him. Quite a long future. I'm not going to say it'll be a successful future. That's for him to decide how successful he wants his future to be. And yeah, I think Brighton will probably be the best club for him that he will have been at in quite a few years, right? I think the last best club he was at was a championship grade Aston Villa. That was probably his best last club. The fact he gets linked to Brighton, I think, again, it's another massive opportunity for Tuanzebe to go there to that sort of level and really prove just how good he is. Because what's to say he doesn't go, or what's to say that he just goes to Brighton and just does so impeccably well that 2-3 years later he's got the interest of some of Europe's most elite clubs, because he's still got some of his best years ahead of him. I think it's about 23, 24 years of age now is Tuanzebe. So again, you've got, you're not anywhere near your last contract of your professional career at your sort of like tier 1 level elite football, right? You're not there yet. So you've still got plenty more great seasons that he can go forth and build his career up again, and hopefully find that potential that everyone supposedly says he has. For a long time I thought he would be something special in time. Obviously, in terms of the way it's been handled with his career, it hasn't really helped his case that much, and I think the idea of loaning him out to clubs, I think there's one thing for certain that we've done is throw players at other clubs. We've not really sort of said, is that club set like especially good for him? Is that really the bestest club for him? Because that's the thing. As bad as our transfers in have been over the past 5-6 years, maybe the transfers out, barring the sales, like the loan deals, have they really been that good? I think the best loan deal we've done was the Jesse Lingard deal. We didn't follow up on it. We did not follow up from it. We did that half a season loan to West Ham to build up his value. What did we do with that? We did absolutely nothing with it. What the hell is that? Quite possibly the loudest Hoover in the world. But anyways, so yeah, as for Tuanzebe to Brighton, I like the sound of that. I think that would be a really good deal to explore, and I would so be pushing for it. I'd so be pushing for it. Also posted by the United Stand on the Twitter feed, because obviously this is a lot of well-informed entities with well-informed sources, so I am absolutely just not in the know. I'm just not in the know. I'm just seeing what everyone else is saying and giving my take on it. Tyrell Malacia This is on the United Stand Post with a link of credit as the source to Jonathan Schrager. Tyrell Malacia, who's been linked with Manchester United FC recently, is in advanced talks over a move to Lyon. And Olympique Lyonnais, they do need, as far as I'm concerned, I think they could really do with a left back, because I think they're, I'm thinking it's PSG that are taking the Lyonnais left back, but that's a Sporting bloke, isn't it? For their left back position. I don't think of any notable, fullbacks at Lyonnais, at Lyon, Olympique Lyon. So I think the fact that they get Tyrell Malacia would be a great acquisition for him. He's a player that plays with serious intent. He's a high work rate, very direct, and good ability as well. Very credible ability. And by the looks of it, it's got some serious room to grow. So I think by all means this would be a fantastic deal to do for Lyon. Would I be ashamed if Man United miss out on him? Not so much. I think it's a focus point for our right backs rather than left back position that needs to be addressed. You could say maybe you talk about, the left back position, do you want to replace Alex Telles if you sell him this summer? Which I reckon we can sell easily for 20 million, because at Porto he was regarded as one of the most talented left backs in Europe, the most technical left backs in Europe, but obviously that has not happened at all. So I think again he will go back out to a European club, and you'll see him play some good football again. It's just a weird one. It's like I called Alex Telles before he came to United. Literally the Brazilian Tagliafico, because everyone's just like, he's just such a great left back, but no one actually signs him from those respective clubs. So no one was signing Telles from Porto, and no one was signing Tagliafico from Ajax. So everyone was just like, fantastic left backs, but no one was interested in them. So this is probably unearthed the reason why no one was after them, because of how Telles' career has gone at United. I think everyone else is just like, we dodged the bullet on that one, but we also have dodged the bullet by not going for Tagliafico, which could have been a very, very similar story. But yeah, Tyrell Malacia, again, because he's specialised as a left back, I'm not fussed that we're missing out on him. If we do miss out on him, I'm not fussed at all. I think it'll be a fantastic move for Lyon, and they'll enjoy it. They'll enjoy having his services for next season if they do. If they do get him. Where else can we go? Can I also say real quick, Glazer, that the whole talk about the Glazers and the work that 1958 group are doing is absolutely fantastic. The fact that we are supposedly getting all sorts of positivity around the club, everyone's spirits are a little lifted, but it's not stirred anyone away from directing a lot of disgruntlement at the Glazers. It's not dissuaded them from making it very much known that the Glazers are a massive problem. It really hasn't helped the fact that the finance reports that the club has published, I believe it is the club that has published them, but more dividends taken out of the club, and an increase, not just net debt, but just all debts increase. So despite the club having all this money to spend, I know there's some rival fans that will sit there and they'll come with some counter argument to say, but your club has spent so much money, is that really the Glazers' problem? It's not so much that, if we were to blame the Glazers for anything to do with the fact that we spent as much money as we have, what we say to that is they've appointed absolutely the worst people to spend all the money that is available, so that when the money is dried up, we don't have anything left in the bank. We have to become solely self-sustainable by the profits we make off the pitch and on the pitch, right? That we have to become self-sustainable. And to be fair, we really actually are. We are absolutely self-sustainable. So we don't actually need the Glazers to put money in for football-related reasons. If there's money that they need to put in, would be investments to the club's, the actual club's external structure, such as the stadium, such as the training grounds, such as all these different sporting assets that bring the club up to date, that bring the club up to speed. That's where the investment from the Glazers would need to be. But the fact is that they're still taking money out of the club, right? And with this coinciding with this report of the debt increase coming after the fact that they're coinciding reports with lack of budget or needing to be carefully spending stuff, to be absolutely honest, it says everything you need to know, that the actions of the Glazers really seriously are not helping Manchester United's case in any respect, regardless of whether it's whether you've got the right people running the football side of the club. Despite us, if Ten Hag starts getting the squad playing fantastic football, right, and we start winning games, getting results, and we start even getting into the point to where we may be winning trophies, right? Even if we are starting to win trophies, the fact remains is they are still more of a problem to us as our owners than they are a solution. They're more of a problem than they are not. And the fact that we've got the increase of debts, but also share prices dropping, supposedly a rumoured 10% of share prices, a drop of 10%. That is, the value, the market value of Manchester United is absolutely dropping. And I think the fact is that because everyone that talks about Manchester United and their problems, even if they don't really know anything about football, they would say, "Oh, isn't that the one that everyone complains about, their owners?" And straight away, it's just like someone who absolutely has no idea about football knows supposedly that the Glazers are a negative more than a positive for Manchester United Football Club, because the way everyone complains about them, and rightfully so. The Glazers, I think the fact that you've got the dropping share prices of the club should be the beginning, in my opinion. This really should be the beginning of the end of the Glazers. When you start getting the share prices dropping, but you get mass change going on in the club, and despite all of the positives going on, if the fan base as a collective are still absolutely drilling it into the club, Glazers the problem, Glazers the problem, Glazers the problem, right? It doesn't matter who's in charge of the footballing operations, right? It doesn't matter how successful we are, whether we win trophies, whether we're signing superstars that's selling loads and loads of shirts and it's really getting the fans super excited about new seasons or certain games and certain competitions. It doesn't matter. The Glazers are public enemy number one in the Manchester United fan base. Public enemy number one. They are the ones who we have to push that agenda against. They are the ones that we have to constantly, continuously call out and really keep that pressure ramped up against them and keep the club wondering, it doesn't matter what we're doing. It doesn't matter what we do. they are absolutely just rampant on, you know, this fight against the Glazer family. And, you know, it's sort of testament to the rumours that I've read up on. You know, it's a couple of videos that I watched. I think it was the one video that I really did watch that went into any depth about this supposed story that I'd read up on was I think United People's TV. I think Sam, the bloke who runs that channel, you know, made a fantastic video about it. You know, some of the videos that Sam makes on that channel is you know, some really like amazing quality videos, right? You know, sort of quality I wish I could have the talent to make, but you know. But yeah, of the supposed consortium, right? Can't remember the name of the bloke who was interviewed about structuring the consortium, but the main backing force, the main driving force of the said consortium would be Sir Jim Ratcliffe, right? And the opportune moment to buy Manchester United is now, or the very, 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 very near future. And by very, very, very near future, if the share prices keep dropping, if they keep consistently going down, don't get me wrong, I reckon the share prices could go up by the time we start signing players, because unfortunately players coming in the door and it being exciting players and, you know, prominent signings is going to start selling shirts, and it's going to start getting traction for the club. It's positive traction, and with positive traction comes, you know, benefits in the finance departments of the club. They start profiting, and then the Glazers start getting their pockets filled again, and share prices go up, right? You know, it's possible that that's going to happen, right? It is. It's very much possible that that's going to happen. Hopefully, you know, this is a fingers crossed moment. I can't really cross my fingers very well, which is quite possibly why maybe my fingers crossed luck wishes never work. But hopefully there is truth behind the consortium stories, and that does become a reality, and that we really do start seeing some, you know, some back and forth, you know, bidding war with the Glazers in terms of acquiring the ownership of Manchester United Football Club as the sporting entity. You know, I reckon, you know, if we get that happening, oh my god, this will be the most entertaining summer ever for Manchester United Football Club. If we get the potential of a formed consortium starting to bid on Manchester United, trying to take the club off the Glazers, there'll be I reckon there'll probably be protests as to say, Glazers, sell it, you know, now's your chance, sell it, otherwise we will not go away. You know, there'll probably be the assisting driving forces in provoking the Glazers to sell up. And to be honest, I reckon they, you know, if there's a perfect time to sell the club, I would have to believe it is now, because the amount of changes that are going on, right, at structural level in the club, it's only right that the same dripping rot is fixed this time, right? The same dripping rot, that we get new owners, that we get a fresh feel at the club, that the years of seeing a club's decline, right, become a thing of the past. You know, that it becomes a thing of just another point in Manchester United's history. If we get someone like Sir Jim Ratcliffe in, that has the club's best interests at heart, you know, it's like when Roman Abramovich came in, when he was you know, spending all of his money, putting it into the club, right? Chelsea fans had no reason to have any doubts over their ownership, because they just knew, yeah, our club's in good hands. Obviously, with the things that have gone on politically, unfortunately, that can't stay, that can't remain. Changes about to be made. Todd Bowley coming in looks like a great new owner for Chelsea. You know, he sounds promising. He's talking the talk. Once he gets in, you know, you have to start expecting him to walk the walk. And Chelsea fans should have absolutely full rights to demand he walks the walk when he becomes the new owner. So there's that as a positive for Chelsea. But I think it's just the same story with Manchester United, minus the whole sanctioning thing. You know, I think we do need new owners. We need a fresh start, a new turnover. Whether the government can just suddenly start sanctioning the Glazers for absolutely no reason at all, because they feel like it, and freezing all their assets, they'd just be like, well, we'll unfreeze your assets once you sell your club and sells your sporting asset. Then maybe we do just need an absolute mad summer of shithousery, right? Just to flip everything that's Manchester United upside down on its head, right? So, yeah. There's all sorts of things that can be happening this summer, so that will be exciting. It'll be exciting. Samuel Luckhurst apparently saying Martial's 1 foot out of the door, as he states there, which is expected. Absolutely expected. Completely expected. You know, it's one of the guys that I think, you know, United need to sign to generate the funds. Not so much selling him because he's not the right guy, but selling him because we do need funds. We do need funds, without a doubt. Furthermore, on some Samuel Luckhurst's reports in terms of the players that he has listed, also still on the United Stands Twitter feed, Henderson, Bailly, Jones, Wan-Bissaka, Williams and Andres Pereira are all potential exits for Manchester United FC. I can agree with all of those. I can absolutely agree with all of those. You know, if you want to talk about squad depths, you know, I mentioned the squad depth situation about midfielders on Tuesday. I spoke about signing midfielders to fill out the squad depth issues, where we're not ever relying on McFred having to fill out games ever again. Where it's just not the case. You sign one midfielder and you rely on them to hit the ground running. You've got the option for a second player that can actually come in and also deliver at the same time, or if not instead of the star acquisition. So there is that as an option. And I think the fact is at the moment our squad depth, for any squad depth that we have, it's like we've got split decisions on players that we've currently got in first team, along with players that we know have to go from the first team. Their replacements, their squad depths, the guys that they rotate with, are also bad. They're also not great. There's also not a lot of promising talent there. You know, it's like the youth academy players are probably the nearest thing to the potential to inject into the squad, but we're not in a position to do that, to say, yeah, those players come in from the academy and they deliver on all fronts. You know, we're not in that position. You know, the sort of league the Premier League is at the moment, if you do that, you know, that's potentially a lot of youth players' careers just destroyed, completely destroyed, because they wouldn't get the right balance of game times between different levels, right? Oh wow, half-term holiday stuff, talking about the whole Jubilee weekend thing I've just seen. More chaos at airports, gotta love it, right? Gotta love it. But yeah, in terms of those 6 names, the Henderson, Bailly, Jones, Wan-Bissaka, Williams and Andres Pereira, Couldn't agree more. I think those are all fair, absolutely all fair departures from the club. Declan Rice is a no-goer. And Samuel Luckhurst also a United stand feed. I think as soon as we talk about price points with Declan Rice, it's easily no. No, sir. No, thank you. The quality of player I don't have a problem with, is easily like, say for instance, if he's like a £50 million player, he'd probably be in the door already. But we're talking about just that, that extra like 10, 20, 30 million pounds, because it's over that sort of £50 million price point. As key as a position it is, with how many issues we got, you can talk about spending 80 million or 100 million on one player later. Do that later, do that next season, do that next summer, do that the summer after. We've got too many problems in the squad to sign one player and expect, the magic wand to be waved and that everything just all comes together and falls into place. We need at least 5 signings, right? Some people are saying realistically 4, given the budgets, but I think to see perhaps the best case scenarios in terms of performance or the turnaround from the squad come next season, we are going to need at least 5 players. 100%. At least 5 players. So that's going to be massively important. Massively important. What else? Seeing more talk with Calvin Phillips. I think the fact that because Leeds weren't relegated, that really has put the deal off all fronts. I think regardless of the whole thing of talk about, he's a Leeds boy, whatever Rio Ferdinand says, whoever else, agrees with that statement about Rio Ferdinand saying no because he's a pure Leeds boy. It's not like me when I moved. He's Leeds through and through. It's not like that. I personally don't really believe in that sort of allegiance, especially considering that the clubs are two completely different levels. It's not like United and Leeds are very same level, right? If you're talking about one player jumping from one ship to the other, that maybe you can say, right, what is it that I'm going to achieve at this club that I can't achieve at the other club? What is it that I can't achieve with this club that I would at the other, right? If the clubs are at the same level, you can understand that sentiment, but because Leeds are literally a team that's surviving, scraping relegation, if Calvin Phillips turns around tomorrow and is just like, I would like to be playing football on the other end of the spectrum, I don't want to be surviving, I want to be thriving, and that's the thing. As soon as he says that, Leeds probably have to forfeit their status with Calvin Phillips in the squad. He might have to be let go to other clubs, and if Manchester United are one of the clubs that come calling, it's like, for instance, us selling Dan James to Leeds. Wouldn't it be a case that even though that Dan James was on Leeds' radar long before we signed him, with the whole thing of Dan James going to Leeds, couldn't we have said that Man United fans have just said, but it's Leeds, we're selling to Leeds, why would we sell to Leeds? They're a rival, they're a competitor, they're a team, they're a club we don't like, why would that be such a problem with it coming the other way now? As soon as we're linked to a Leeds player, all of a sudden, it's a massive problem, we wouldn't dare touch a player from Leeds, even if he is good enough quality. Well, we're in a position where we need players to be good enough quality. So doesn't that straight away just say, well, if you can guarantee that's good enough quality, you should want him. You should want him in the club. You should want to get him in. Obviously, you don't want to overpay and overcommit to price points that are just, over the top. ludicrous price points, then you can say, well, you know, that price is too much. You can't pay that much for the plan that we have in place. And that is the plan. The plan is to sign multiple players, as many players as we can. But we can't do that if we're overpaying in certain players in certain positions in certain fronts. So yeah, I'm fine with us not signing Calvin Phillips. Thank you, Troll Football, for this post on Twitter. Thankfully, Spurs sacked him before he tainted the club with a trophy. Literally every club that Mourinho has been at, he has won a trophy with. Except Spurs. Except Spurs. Daniel Levy must have been so pissed off. The second he saw that Mourinho was potentially in a cup final, it's just like, oh, you could be winning a trophy. Can't. No, we can't do that. Sack him fast. Sack him now, quickly. You know. But yeah, shout out to Jose for winning the first ever UEFA Conference League. Thank fuck we're not in that trophy. Thank fuck we're not in that competition. Not particularly fond of being in Europa League either, but hey ho, what can you do? It's probably the most likely option. You know, throw your something to do with a hat, or put your eggs in the basket and just go all out for Europa League. Do that sort of a thing. Now this is something else we've also been linked with. Someone else, Mönchengladbach midfielder, right? Reported by L'Equipe via GFFN. This is on the MUFC MPB Twitter feed. The initiation of contacts with the representatives of Mönchengladbach midfielder Manu Kone. Not someone that I've looked into. Again, it's one of the unknowns because he's come out of nowhere, because no one's just like, oh, we can expect to be linked to him in the summer. It's like, even if he plays so ludicrously well and is seriously talented, he just flies under the radar. He just flies under the radar, so no one really looks into him. It's just like, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, 100% get him in the summer. But for the people that really have paid any close attention to him, are saying that he's good. So, I mean, is an unknown as an entity. There is, you know, again, it's one of those, do you bite the bullet on it? I think if we absolutely need players in certain positions, he has played quite a few games this season. You know, I think if we absolutely desperately need positions filled out, if we need someone in the midfield as a backup, the fact he's played games this season, quite a few games, you know, it's not like he's coming in as an academy prospect that just hasn't seen first team football yet. You know, it's not like one of the academy signings where we just speculate about how amazing of a star he's going to be. You know, it's not speculation. We've seen, or people will have seen, you know, in proper competition, how he fares in his ability. So more to it. No, I like this. MUFC have told Frankie de Jong to hurry up and decide if he wants to come and join the club. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. On credit, in terms of credit to the source of sport on the United exclusive Twitter feed. They were sticking deadlines on transfers, on big transfers as well, right? That we're stopping this thing where we drag deals out all summer long, like the Sanchos, because guaranteed Murtaugh has looked at that and just gone, well, we've been negotiating deals with clubs for players that we deem key to our squad, and we spent more than one summer doing it is never going to be good enough. Never going to be good enough or acceptable in the aspect of a successfully functioning club. If you're going to be a successful club, you sign the players you want to sign and know you can get. But if they're stalling, if there's delaying and all sorts of different things, you just say, okay, then goodbye, we're going for someone else. And if you don't waste time on that, I think it will benefit you long term. I do. I think it benefits you long term. Yes, there's something else that I did want to say real quick. What in the absolute living hell is going on with Aston Villa? Who are the people, right, at their club who are negotiating these deals? Who the hell? Like, I've not seen a Premier League club of Aston Villa's position, status and everything like that conduct transfer business so well and so efficiently. The transfer window is not open. They have essentially completed 2 deals. CDM in Kamara, right, a defensive-minded midfielder. They've got him on a free, of course, because his contract expired, but I think Diego Carlos, the Sevilla centre-back. Someone else who's pretty good. Makes an improvement to Konsa and Mings. Like, 2 great deals for a club like Aston Villa, and it's done before the window's open. So Aston Villa are getting their business done stupendously early, right? And shout out to that club for doing so. They're a club that are now taking their business and all their business very, very seriously. And after the impeccable transfer window that they had last summer, I think that was with Dean Smith at that point, and now with Steven Gerrard. The impeccable business they did last summer, and now just to carry on where they left off, going into this summer. So they've re-signed Coutinho. They've got that's 3 deals. That's 3 deals they've essentially completed and done and dusted and got it off the books before the window's even opened. If that doesn't tell you Villa is a club with intent, then I don't know what does. I credited Leicester City for how well of a club that they're run. How well that they are run, how well they recruit, how well they scout. And to be fair, they do scout very well, they recruit very well. But they've now got Aston Villa hot on their heels. Aston Villa realistically doing a West Ham, pushing for the European positions next season. I know there's obviously with some Arsenal fans, they talk about their concerns. Arsenal fans talk about concerns about, if we don't move properly this summer, all the clubs that could overtake us. You've got Manchester United on the up. They've got a spurt of new confidence now, or belief, or faith, that their project is going to be delivering. Newcastle will spend mega bucks to get them to skip levels of the league. They're just gonna go up. Like, they don't really care. They'll spend the big bucks and they will do whatever is necessary to put them on the pedestal, to sit them on the perch of the north, right? So you've got Newcastle, West Ham. If they improve depth, they will come back and they'll overtake 100%. Who else do we have? Other than Manchester United, it's got Aston Villa. Who else? I think Tottenham Hotspur. As it stands right now, they're already ahead. So, in terms of squad position, and who else? Leicester City. If they come back next season with, if they start playing really well, if they start getting really good results, I think below the title picture, so let's just say the title picture's here, let's just push that up. Now the question for now. The battle below, with the whole Champions League places, Europa League places, Conference League places, whatever. That mid-table, that top half of that mid-table battle / European qualifications battle is going to be anybody's guess next season. That because there's so many squads at so similar levels, and the aspirations are just sort of trying to pipe each other. Just nip it in the bud and just take that position above. This back and forth nature that there's going to be between these clubs come next season, right? And I think it's absolutely, I think look forward to next season if you are a neutral and don't support any of these clubs. But I think next season is going to be an absolute nightmare for any clubs like Arsenal fans, like Tottenham fans, like United fans, like Aston Villa fans, like West Ham fans, Newcastle fans, Leicester fans of all of these clubs. It's going to be a nightmare next season. Swear down it will. Swear down it will be a nightmare next season. Seeing your club go into one game, get the win, oh nice, we're going to be on a run. You go up against another club the next week and you just get absolutely slapped up and hammered, and it's just like, oh my god, this is just going to be too much to bear. And you've got to do that for 38 games. 38 games next season of just struggling to really know what the future holds for your club. I think the next 3 years will be the most testing, the most challenging for all of these clubs, because if these gaps between these clubs in terms of their progression and their squad levels, if those gaps start closing up too much, literally, I don't think Manchester United have a guarantee to top 4. I don't. Tottenham won't. Arsenal won't. But neither would any of the other clubs, because the gap is so small between squad levels. If across the next 3 or so seasons, the recruitments of some of these other clubs is just continuing on its current trajectory, maybe Newcastle, with their aspirations to spend big, just maybe, right, they don't actually get the targets they want, because those targets go to a club like Aston Villa, like Leicester, like Arsenal, United, Tottenham. Maybe their targets keep going to these other clubs. So where they get these gem signings, maybe it's not quite enough to really be pushing the boundaries, right? It's not enough to be pushing the boundaries of these other top or big 6 clubs, as it would be, as they be called. I just think next season, most especially, I think after all is said and done with this window, it's going to be a seriously entertaining watch next season for a lot of neutral fans, perhaps fans from other leagues across Europe, because they're going to see this mad battle between squads that are so well invested. It's just going to be so entertaining to watch a lot of these games. So much talent for the teams that are not actually competing for titles. There's going to be so much talent, and just the quality of games will be much increased. Anyways, let's see if there's anything else to discuss. That was a quick mention about leaks inspector doing some work on Old Trafford on the roof leak. I don't know why they need to the clubs needing to be aware about complaints. I mean, it's on cameras. Anytime it rains at Old Trafford, right, it's pretty much on camera that that there's just this massive leak in the I think it's the corner of the Stretford end where the multi-tier stands are. No, I think that's where the leakage is, and it's quite a bad leak. It is quite a bad leak. Their stadium looks knackered. I've just seen a video of Mourinho on the trophy parade on a bus, a roofless bus, going around the Coliseum, and everyone's just like, "Oh, look, it's their stadium. It's so out of touch." God. Right. What else can we say? We've covered stuff about the Glazers. Just gonna say that I think United People's TV is supposedly making another video about the Glazers, which I'm gonna go watch myself. I'm gonna go outside. I'm going to bask in the sun, and it's absolutely gorgeous weather out there. So I'm gonna go bask in the sun, and I'm gonna watch United People's TV's video about the Glazers if it is released yet. Go quickly check. Is that video released? If it is, I'm gonna go and chill out and enjoy watching that video, because that's Stanley does do seriously good content on that channel, and big ups to him. Big shout out to him. Let's have a look. Excuse me, I'm using my phone. It's like, I believe phones on streams are like phones at dinner table, right? And you're at a restaurant or something. Yes, it is released. 13-minute video, released an hour ago. So yes, I'm going to go watch that. I'm going to go watch it. I'm going to enjoy every second of it, and probably chow down on some luscious food as well. And yeah, God, it's such amazing weather out there. So I'm going to go to make the most of it. I'll probably come back and do another quick stream tonight, because I've kind of enjoyed this conversation. I've enjoyed this this quick talk, even though it's not really been any one. Jesus. Even though there's not really been anyone watching, at least my tab here has told me that no one has been watching yet, but I do see people do watch the playback, so I'll probably have to wrap it up there. I'll need to go sort out lunch before it gets a bit too late for me in the day. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Massively appreciate for anyone who has watched, which I don't think anyone's watched live, but for anyone who does watch on playback, massively appreciate the viewership and the love and support that you do show. If you were to drop a like and a subscribe, and subscribe to the channel, that would be massively appreciated and seriously helpful to the sustained growth. Let's grow like Manchester United, shall we? Let's grow like Manchester United. Let's subscribe to this channel. We drop the likes, right? And let's grow together. Let's broaden, expand this channel. Let's bring the people in. Let's bring the viewers in, and let's get some of these conversations going. Because I would love to have in this channel. I would absolutely love it if we have people like in the chat for me to interact with, because it's not going to be something like it's the your traditional fan channel shows, right, where you got just the host talking, or let's say it as it is, right? So it's not going to be like United Stand, right, with Mark Goldbridge the host, occasionally interacts with comments. No, it's literally straight from the off. It is just interaction, start to finish, and it's the viewers' desired topics, as long as it's related about football. It's the viewers' decided topics that we talk about, that we converse about, that we air some dirty laundry. We air some dirty laundry on the football side of the things. But yeah, it's so yeah. think this evening probably I might come back and do a quick stream. But yeah, for anyone who does watch, do drop a like and leave a subscription. That would be massively appreciated, as to the growth of this channel, and obviously the future. As I've said before, it's not really run to schedule. I was having a little brainstorm earlier today about whether I was going to continue doing streams rather than just videos, like small topical videos, that then I could potentially do multiple uploads in a day, like 10-20 minute videos or something like that. Maybe it would probably be better, at least for the short term, or the most immediate term of this channel, is just uploads rather than streams, because obviously we haven't got the viewership so much to interact. But I think as it stands, it's more helpful for me, for my content to be being uploaded to YouTube as I'm making it. Henceforth, I'm chosen streaming over making videos, because my upload speed for some reason is so slow. My download speed is practically limitless, so I don't really have connection problems as such, right? Don't have the most powerful PC in the world, so maybe if I'm playing games and stuff, sometimes it lags a bit, right? It does lag a bit. But no problems with my download speed, thankfully. But my upload speed, God, is that ever awful. So if I ever do pre-record a long video, my guy, I'm getting someone to edit that and cut out all of the bits that we just don't need, or just do the stream and get the editorial specialist to cut down to the key and fun moments of said streams, and then upload those to YouTube. But that's then, and this is now. So yeah, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'm going to see you guys potentially. I can't guarantee things, because obviously this isn't scheduled. But yeah, I'm going to love you and leave you, and hopefully we'll see you again shortly later on in the evening. I think maybe do something Saturday afternoon, because I'm actually only working up until 2 p.m. on the Saturday, but it is an early start, so probably doing a later afternoon stream tomorrow. Sunday, I think, we've got family plans going on, so I can't guarantee that I'll be doing anything then. Maybe do something in the morning and then something late evening. And then as for next week, because I'm pretty much working a full-time week on a part-time contract, which is very strange, but because it's practically, it acts like it's a 0 hours. Obviously this is I'm susceptible to it. But yes, that until then, I shall leave you guys to it, and we'll see you again very soon, perhaps with some new updates and new things to talk about. So I'll see you then. Till then, ciao for now.